Live. Yes, that's it. Hello, everyone. How are you? How has your week been? Let me know how your week has been. It's been another wonderful, wonderful week for me. The time has flown so fast. I know I say this every week, but I seriously cannot believe how the time flies. I was telling somebody at work this afternoon, like, it's almost the end of May, and gradually we are coming to the middle of 2021. And it just looks as if we started this year just yesterday, and we already are almost in the middle of the year. Let me know how your week has been going, how your month has been going, how this year has been going for you. Let me know in the comment. And let me know where you're joining me from. Tonight, I've also got a guest, so let us know where you're joining us from. It's wonderful to always have you join us live. It's wonderful when you watch the replay, but it's wonderful when you're actually here live to be able to ask our guest all your questions pertaining to your life, your self-care, living healthy, because I tell you, this afternoon, the amount of people that we've got talking about looking after ourselves and why we don't take it a priority until something actually happens to either ourselves or to our friends or to people around us. Then we start to pay conscious attention to looking after our body. But it does not need to be that way. We do not need to make looking after ourselves an afterthought. And that's why I've got somebody wonderful here with me tonight that is going to tell us how to make sure that we are taking, proactive steps into looking after ourselves. And some of you may be joining me for the very first time, and you're wondering what's going on here. My name is Tosin John. And tonight we have what we call the Tangel Business Show, where we bring you the stories, the challenges, the lessons, and above all, the knowledge, mindset, strategies, and inspiration for you to take momentum building action steps to unleash your purpose, passion, in order to be able to create a profitable and a successful business on your terms. The aim of the Tangel Business Show is to be able to bring you some of the stories, the challenges, and some of the things that successful entrepreneurs have been able to do in their business, and they've been able to succeed at it. And in order for them to tell you what they've done, so that you learn from their path and you also apply those lessons into your life, into your business, for you to create the sort of business that you desire. So tonight, let me know in the comment where you're joining me from. Thank you from Central London, from Dagenham. Thank you for joining in tonight. It's absolutely wonderful. I'm going to bring my guest on tonight, and she's no other than she's a certified health coach. So she's not just an ordinary person coming to give us gibberish. She is certified in her field, and there is no better time to learn about our health, about our well-being, about living a balanced lifestyle. We hear all these things about 5 fruits a day, now 7 fruits and all these things. But now it's time to put everything together and learn and understand how to pay attention to this body and how to look after it in the best way possible, so that it's there for the long time to look after us whilst we also look after the business. And therefore, I have the privilege of bringing Sheila onto our screen tonight. Her name is Sheila Botelho, and she's a certified integrative nutrition health coach. She's a lifestyle entrepreneur, and she's a mom of 2. So she understands when we talk about balancing family and business and everything all together. She's best known for her online wellness programs. So she does a lot of online wellness programs. She does a lot of mentoring and self-love passion. Trust me, when you visit Sheila's page, she's not short of things to tell you about looking after yourself. She's very passionate about helping women prioritize their self-care and tap into their feminine strength whilst living their purpose in this world. She also is the host of the Connect podcast with Sheila Botelho. And on her podcast, she delivers everything you need to know through questions and answers, through interviews, through solo chats, about how to connect to your soul's calling and how to take action on it. You find out what that soul calling, what that soul purpose is, and you take the right action on it. So if you are inspired to take your health seriously, this is the best person that is coming to do justice to that. And I have no other person to tell you about self-care, in life than no other than Sheila. Hello, Sheila.
Hey there.
How are you? It's good to have you on tonight.
Oh, I really appreciate that beautiful introduction. And it's so funny because where I am right now, I thought was going to be a nice quiet space, and then somebody started cutting tile somewhere. So
That always happens. Trust me, it always happens. But we can hear you nice and fine.
all right. But if that does happen again, I'll just, kind of move myself up to a quieter space. And that's part of the joy.
I know.
Entrepreneurship and working from home. I think all of us can understand. It's so funny because now I see how people are like saying, I see all the memes, make sure when you're having a Zoom meeting, keep your pets in the picture. We want to see them. Oh.
True, true. Oh, it's so wonderful. So how are you tonight? How have you been?
I'm doing really well. And I know you're in England. I'm in the Toronto area. So it's beautiful, sunny, 20
Oh,
degrees Celsius weather.
oh, I'm jealous. I'm so jealous. The weather this week has been down, dairy. It's been raining on and off. It's been windy. It's been a little bit cold. So I really, really am envious of where you are right now. Just for us to understand, Sheila is joining us from Canada tonight. So it's 7 p.m. our time. It's 2 p.m. Sheila's time. So it's wonderful to have you. So can we get to know a little bit more about yourself, what you do, what being a certified integrative nutrition coach, what does it feel like? What is it about?
Well, I will start by saying yes, with the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. I'm a certified integrative nutrition health coach. And that certification came after many years in the wellness space. And I loved always learning about how to not only improve my health, but improve the health of others. But really how it began was I was working in the personal development space, which is where I met my husband, and we marketed seminars, and I was an event coordinator for these seminars. And it was just a beautiful opportunity to rub shoulders with incredible people. And then we realized, of course, you read enough of these books and you hear these stories and you think, well, we're young, we can do this. We have a great attitude, we have abilities. What do we want to do? What kind of freedom do we want to create in our life so that we're not working for someone else? And so my husband started looking for different opportunities, and it turns out they were in the wellness and nutrition space because this was back in the 90s, early 90s, when, it looked like it was going to be a really growing sector of the industry. So after looking at some, we joined forces with a nutritional company to market their products. And through that process, like it was not long that, yes, I started this as a business to, create freedom, create lifestyle. But really the basis of it was attached to the people who designed everything with the mindset of having the healthiest family on earth. And I'm like, ooh, I like this. And so it was founded by a scientist. And so looking into nutritional science and the beauty miracle things that our body can do when we give it what it needs, I fell in love with that whole wellness space. And so in growing the business over the years and taking it global, we really learned a lot, and our own health improved. And of course, I was only in my early 20s and had just gotten married, and would find that I would, not really pay attention to what I was eating so much. At the time, prior to this business, we were, working 70-hour work weeks and just eating whatever we could, find in a quick moment. And of course, they were not the healthiest foods. And you can get away with a lot in your 20s, of course. However, it did start to take a toll because not getting sleep, commuting, eating poorly, and having stress on a job at the time the job was a startup company.
Wow.
And so I realized, okay, what is wrong with the situation? And then once I got into the wellness space in our own business, I realized, oh, right, we need to be nutriting ourselves at a cellular level and having all the lifestyle practices to go along with it, as well as the beautiful mindset piece that I had developed over the years of understanding like how our mind works. It definitely does impact our health as well. And what we believe is possible is so, so powerful. And then underpinning all of that, I know that you and I share a faith as well. And so my spiritual faith, my faith in God has always been a guiding force. And I know everyone believes in something different, but I think here it is like believing that there's something greater that created you. there's a rhyme and a reason to how you were designed, right? And so knowing that there's a greater purpose kind of tied it all together. And it made me realize I can trust what my body's telling me, but I need to stop and listen.
That is very key.
Yeah.
That is very key. That is absolutely, because that's one of the questions I'm going to, delve in, because our body talks to us, but we fail to listen. And that is where problem starts to come in. So I'll let you go on so that we don't,
It can happen. And yet the beautiful thing is, even if we didn't listen and our body tells us something we don't want to hear, that can be scary even, it's not the end of the road. There are things that we can do. It's just, it's like we get these little whispers, and then they become nudges, and then they become, prodding. And then sometimes it's a loud, chaotic noise, a loud, chaotic event that will really get our attention. And we're all at different places. And so, for me, I didn't have anything really incredible happen to my health from a negative standpoint, other than getting, knocked on my butt a number of times by this bronchitis and things like that, and being out for the count, and feel, oh no, the world is going to end because I have to keep going. I can't stop. I can't slow down. I can't rest, which would make me stay sick longer. And then in 2013, my sister was diagnosed with sarcoma cancer. And my world really changed at that point, because she had been feeling a pain in her upper thigh area for like a good 9-10 months, and had been trying all these other things to see what it was. But of course, being only 42 or 43 at the time, she didn't think too much of it. She thought, okay, I'll figure this out. But it turned out to be cancer.
Wow.
And 6 weeks of her getting the diagnosis, she had had 1 round of chemotherapy, and she went septic, was put on life support, came off life support for a few days, and then passed away. And during that time, when I actually was able to speak to her when she was awake, because I spent 6 weeks there, and most of that time she was asleep, I would be talking to her. I would be, trying to just encourage her. I don't even remember how long she was on life support. It's just like, it's a big blur now, but it felt like a very. And when she came off, she said, okay, Sheila, I need to get serious about my health here. Those green juices you keep telling me about, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And like, just tell me what to do. And the thing is, this is the issue. She was really what we thought a very healthy young woman, lived in the country, just backing onto a farm. And yet there's probably things over the years that were nudging her that she wasn't paying attention to. And then, so when she found out that she was ill, she wanted to just hit it with both barrels. So kind of like, let's attack the cancer. And since that time, I've really come to look at that whole, how we treat our body when we're ill, very differently. And that really we need to be loving on our body, not attacking, giving our body what it needs so it can heal. And I know everybody's got different opinions on how to handle things like these chronic illnesses. But I do know that it was once she had, like, there was a marked difference from once she had that treatment. She went with both, and she was not a very big person. She's smaller than me. Like, so there was some frailty there, obviously, for her to have become ill with cancer. So maybe hitting it with both barrels wasn't the best first line of defense. And so from that time, so grateful to have had the time with her to talk about everything. And we never, we always had a very close relationship. We didn't have anything left unsaid. And when she passed away, I'll never forget, my cousin had come up from Montreal. She was in Ottawa at the time, which is the town where I grew up, hospital there. And my cousin came up and had just said, I need to take the day off work. I need to come see my cousin because I just feel like I have to. And needless to say, we spent the day together with her, went down for a cup of tea while my sister was getting all ready with the nurses for the night. And by the time we got back, her oxygen levels they had to keep raising them. And basically within a matter of 20 minutes from entering that room, she passed away.
Wow.
I was holding my sister and she died in my arms, and my cousin was holding me. So had my cousin not had that intuition that I need to be there, I would have been alone with the nurse, a beautiful nurse named Hannah. I will never forget her. She was from India. We learned her whole story. My sister was, I love people. My sister, I don't know, I think she loved them more. She was a beautiful, beautiful soul. Her last word to me when she could talk, like earlier that evening, was she pointed to the ceiling or the sky, and she's like, Jesus. That was the last thing she said to me. And so that
Wow.
gave me great comfort. Oh, I haven't actually told this story for a while. Oh my goodness. But the whole point of this story is to say that that experience really changed me, because I knew that wellness, I knew that health, self-care, all that was very important, but I realized something, and that is we need to be looking within ourselves more often. We need to be stopping and really placing an importance on how are we really feeling? What is our body telling us? Making spaces in our life to create those times of rest. And when we do, waiting for the answers to come up. And I believe the answers will come when we give ourselves space. And that doesn't mean, the one thing we also know, because through the past 8 years, I went on to lose 2 nephews. I lost my father, my mother, 2 aunts. Like it's been quite a few, this 8-year period has been interesting. So that it just brings home the idea, we are all going to die someday. And it's not something that we're familiar with saying. So let's think about this. How do we want to live? And that's really my focus with soul-driven self-care is, okay, how do I want to live? Do I want to live in fear?
Yeah.
Do I want to live in joy? And what will it take to get me there?
Which brings me to what I wanted to actually ask is, what does self-care, what would it look like for me? Because I've not really been someone, and I know a lot of our viewers tonight are not really keen into, or they've not been into the self-care, looking after myself, paying attention to what I eat, exercise, and all of these things. So what does self-care look like in a nutshell?
Well, you just said all of the things that really we do. We know we need to move our bodies regularly. We need to eat whole foods, more fruit and veggies, mostly veggies. If meat, unless you're vegan, right? Like that's a choice you can make. So we know these things. We need to be getting a certain amount of sleep. We need to be drinking more water. We know them, but like then we put it off, or we think, oh, well, not today. And so what does self-care mean? It means prioritizing the care of self. And what is self? Self is our body. Self is our mind. Self is our relationships. Self is our spiritual life. Self is our physical fitness. Self is also the things that make us who we are, the things that we enjoy. One form of self-care is, what are those things that you love to do but you never make time for? Like, do you love to write poetry but you haven't gotten around to it? Do you love to paint but no, that takes too much time? Love to write music but the kids, it's too busy. So prioritizing those things that bring you joy helps to free up space for you to actually be at your best. That's one form. But in terms of eating healthy and exercising and all of that, when I talk about soul-driven self-care, it is about going through a process of looking at all the areas of your life, determining on a scale of 1 to 10, for instance. I know, like being an entrepreneur, we think of graphs, charts, numbers, revenue, right? Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? Like 10 being the highest. Where are you low? Where are you missing out a little bit? And like I think even by just, if I were to name off all the areas, your health, your fitness, your relationships, your finances, your career aspirations, your hobbies, rest, like you would know, oh yeah, that one, it's been nagging at me. I need to deal with that.
I need to deal. Yeah.
Right? So how I invite people to do, it's not one size fits all. And that's why it's soul driven. Each of our souls is going to tell us we need something different, right? So what I created a self-care assessment guide that can be found at my website, SheilaBotelho.com, and it walks you through some questions, everything from your energy to, particularly if you're a woman, your cyclical rhythms each month, how you feel throughout the month, and if you're not cycling, like how throughout the month, like based on energy, based on the moon, etc. Like we're all part of the nature experience. How do we feel? How do we feel during the different seasons? How do we feel during the day? Like what are our optimal times to be working or resting? We're all different. So we go through those assessments, and then we can choose there's a self-care menu there of things to do, things to add and to take away. But the main thing is to not create a to-do list. It's to start with one thing.
Okay.
The thing that's been touching your heart that you need to be starting there.
Excellent. So I want to bring all of this back to relating it to us as entrepreneurs, because
Yeah.
a lot of people don't, especially when you run your own business, it's very easy to get busy being busy, and it's very easy to neglect looking after yourself, because I can say from experience, I always put myself at the bottom of the list. I just want to keep going, looking after the family, looking after the children, looking after the home, looking after the business, and myself, way at the bottom. So, and people keep telling me you need to have time for self-care, looking after yourself, going for spa and all these things. So how can I relate self-care or being healthy directly or indirectly to having a successful business? Does it matter if I look after myself because my business is running and is running successfully? Do I still need to worry about me if the business is going well and the kids are looking fine? What is your opinion?
Oh, there's so many good things that you can do. And a lot of it has to do with doing less. um, Part of a wonderful membership with Kate Northrup called Origin. And she talks about this whole philosophy of doing less. And ultimately, it is creating an environment in your life where you are getting support in the areas that you need. You're saying no to the things that really, let's face it, we can do a lot of busy work in our business that's
Sure.
not moving the needle on the revenue. So if you're focusing on revenue generating activities, the things
Hmm.
that really, really move the needle, put those top of the list. All the other stuff, like the little administrative things that just kind of eat away at your time, either delegate them out or determine like 1 or 2 times during the week that that's all you do for a very focused amount of time, so that you can work less, so that you can have more space to have time to do the things that light you up and to not rush around. Because I don't know about you, I do not get my best ideas when I'm tired or when I've been working for like 6 hours straight on something. Right?
True.
Funny, I say 6 hours because it used to be so many more hours. So
All the times roll into one after a while.
you probably find this too because you love your business so much. You could sit down and just like nobody bug me for hours. It's like, no, 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 I need to eat. Right. So I like to say when we're working, first prioritize, do those things that the needle moving activities first, knowing that you have scheduled boundaried time for all the other little things, or you have delegated out to a virtual assistant. There are plenty out there right now who do incredible work all over the world. Um, and then when you're actually scheduling these times to work, like I work in 2 hour chunks, and that doesn't mean I get actually 2 hours of work done because it takes me a little time to warm up and then a little bit of time to like wind down from it. Right. So you're really only getting a chunk of time, but when you're in that zone and when you're, segregated from the rest of the home, if you're working from home right now, you're able to get that focus that you need. And if you focus on one task at a time, your energy is not divided. So really it is about energy management more than time management, but the calendar
Hmm.
does get involved. So that's really, that is a form of self-care that is its utmost, because if you're not managing your energy well during the time that you're building your business, you're not going to have time to do all of the other things, to do the healthy things, to create the walk time with your spouse or with your dog. You're not going to have the time to get to bed early. You're going to be working into the hours of the night. The other boundary is to have like, this is when I turn off the computer. This is when I put my phone away at night. Making those, again, looking within and seeing what really resonates for me based on my energy and my goals, and knowing that tomorrow is a new day.
Another day, yes.
We're not
Because
going to
sometimes, yeah, because sometimes what we find out is even not turning, aside from the fact that we're not taking time out to exercise, to drink plenty of water. I'm guilty. I'm very guilty about that. I'm not going to lie. So we find out that being on phone all the time is not even is not healthy. We
right.
find it's not, because your brain is constantly processing, it's constantly working. And even though you said to yourself, I'm not working, but your brain is working. So I like the fact that you mentioned that we need to create boundaries around the use of laptops, computers, putting the phone away. Because what we find is the last thing that we do is, you're on social media up until late, and then you wake up first thing in the morning, you're back there. So your brain is constantly processing all of the information that are going and flying through the air. And I just wanted to say to our viewers tonight, if you have any questions for Sheila, please put them in the comment. Let her know that you are there. Please give us some like, cheer us up, because it's not easy sometimes, looking at this little screen right here. So please cheer us, give us some like, and show us some love in the comment. Let Sheila know if you have any questions. Put them in the comment box. Okay, and then I want to find out what are some of the signs that would tell us, because like you said from the beginning, your body will tell you, it's already giving you those little nuggets and little signs that it's time to slow down. It's time to rest. It's time to, look deep within and look after yourself. What are some of those signs that we will notice to tell us, you know what, girl, it's time to sit back and relax and, just cross your legs?
It really is. It's tuning into honestly, your mindset. Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you feeling snappish? Like, is the littlest thing just sending you over the edge? That's a sign that you're overtired and that you've been too focused on one thing and that you've not boundaried your time out enough. And I really invite people to, along with all the other things we've talked about, to do healthy things, get outside into nature. And if you live in a very dense populated city, find a tree and hug it. Like, honestly,
it's as basic as that, isn't it?
Where I live, I'm fortunate. You see my stories every morning.
I do. Every morning without fail.
And the birds, and just listen to the birds. And I mean, even in big cities, they have parks, right? Like somewhere. So find them and make sure that you really make that connection, because that is when your body will really tell you, oh, I need to do this more. I need to sit down, or I need to create more time for this. And it also gives you the bigger picture of life as we know it. We get so focused on, this deadline and this launch and this client, and I need to, what day is it? Okay, the revenue needs to be at this by this time. You know what? When we get outside and we see the vast beauty of nature that is out there, the birds are flying around. They're doing what they need to do. They're singing a beautiful song. If you listen, they're communicating to each other. And the trees right now, they're coming into bloom. Nature is moving. Something is creating this to happen. And we are a part of it. So our life is so much more than just what we're tunnel vision focused on. And I think when we do that, that allows us to just take a breath. And that's another thing, take deep breaths of that beautiful fresh air. It allows us to tune into what are the things that really we need to be doing. And again, going through that assessment I mentioned, it's really helpful, squaring away a little bit of quiet time to really focus in, and do it outside if you can, because there's something about nature. There's something about the rhythm of the birds and the trees blowing in the breeze. Like, it just, thinking about it makes me take a deep breath.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm going to add to that, because I noticed when I started, at least some mornings, I haven't been as proactive as I used to be. But when I notice in the mornings, I drop the children off at school, and then I take 30 to 45 minutes. Just sometimes I do slow jogging or fast walk, and I listen to podcasts, I listen to music. I find myself throughout that day, I'm at my top form. I'm very creative. I'm busting with ideas. Everything is coming to me. Maybe I had an idea for a business thing that I want to do. Throughout that day, all the steps I need to actually get that project done starts to come to me. So these things are very practical, and they don't need to take all of the time, Right. Even if you assign 2-3 days in a week just to take 30 minutes of walking around, just to, declutter your head away from all of the news, all of the things that are happening, which is never good news on the TV. I've stopped watching it. So they are very, very, very important that we start to pay attention to this body. And I've told myself, you know what, I turned 40 last month, and I said, you know what, this is the time I need to start prioritizing me first now, not in a selfish way, but in a way that I need to start paying attention to, because I need this body to carry me for as long as I'm here on earth. And therefore, I need to look after it basically if I want it to also be there for me long term. So, and I do know that sometimes we will not lie to ourselves that it can get overwhelming.
Yeah.
Thinking, I know, meal that comes with meal planning, eating the right kind of meals, going for a walk, going for balance that with looking after children, and after, how do we, balance running a business with also prioritizing our self-care so that everything comes into one, you're not neglecting one for the other, and everything comes to having a balanced lifestyle. What's your take on this?
I really say start small, because most people are overwhelmed. And so to think, oh, I need to make shifts. Oh my gosh, how am I ever going to do this? I've got too much else going on. Start with 15 minutes. And like I mentioned, when you determine that one thing you want to start with, and you could start with one thing a month, one thing a week, one thing every other month, whatever feels good for you, whether it's, okay, let's say sleep. I need more sleep. Okay, start with going to bed 15 minutes earlier, just 15. Do that for a little bit and then move it up to 30 minutes till you get to whatever the amount of time it is that is going to work for you. I mean, I used that for my kids when they were really little, when I was like, I did the whole sleep training thing. I will tell you, I did. It was magnificent. My kids to this day, they're 15 and 13. They're like, Mom, I got to go to bed. I'm like, okay. It's 9 o'clock or before 9. Mom, it's almost 9. I need to get to bed. They have friends who are up till 2 a.m, right? Anyway, they love this because they know how they feel. So
In the morning.
minutes, that's how I would move their bedtimes. And if it's, let's say it is meal prep or getting a healthy meal. Well, if you like to cook, that's one thing, right? So you determine, okay, I'm going to start 15 minutes earlier on my meal, or take 15 minutes to plan out my whole menu for the week, or take 15 minutes a night to plan the food for the next day, whatever. Start with 15 minutes. If you don't like to cook, we live in a beautiful time where you can get organic meals delivered to your door for the week. And it's pretty comparable to going and getting all the ingredients yourself, except you don't have to think. So that's kind of nice. So that is an option for people who are able to do that. And you think about it. Some people might say, oh, but if that costs too much, I don't know if I can do it. Well, I consider that an investment in you, which is an investment in your business, because the less time you spend trying to figure out your meals, trying to figure out how to prepare them, and actually preparing them like from scratch, you could be on a sales call. You could be creating content, right?
True.
Visioning the next week or month or year of your business. So think about that. Or how about this? You could be resting. Like energy that you need to show up better the next day. See, it isn't all about, ooh, I need to be in my spare time doing as much income generating activity. No, actually, we need to replenishing ourselves so that when we are focused on income generation, we're fully present, we're firing on all cylinders. And then it goes back to what you were saying. You take that 15 minutes a day, you focus it on one thing, then you can shift to another thing once you're comfortable and once you have a habit created. But then what you're doing is you're investing in your future life by taking care of yourself. And you're taking care of your family by taking care of yourself. Because when we don't take care of ourselves, nobody's going to get taken care of. If you got little ones, oh boy, right?
Trouble. Yes.
Not to mention, you want to, like, if you love being with your family, you want to enjoy the moments. They fleet fast, right? So
True.
it all depends on what you want. It's all up to you.
Yes, Grace is saying, I totally agree. I love going for walks, and I've seen our story as well. So she does that. She loves listening to the birds and watching the dogs and the geese on the lake. It makes a great difference. It does. And these are the things that we take for granted. They are little things that we take for granted. You know, before, when I first started my business, and I will always, worry about, I need to do this, I need to do this, accounting, the admin, the staff, and everything. And when the kids want to go to the park, I'm like, no, boys, I'm sorry, I don't have time. But as I grow in this business, I'm starting to say, when they tell me, Mom, I want to go to the park, I just want to go on my bicycle, it's like God is using them to tell me it's time to take my brain away from the business
I
and look after this, so now I once they want to go to the park, they want to go to the garden, and I let myself into what they do as well. I let myself go, I let myself play. Before, I was so blind to what they wanted, because I just wanted the business to be functioning. But now that I see as they're growing up, I take them to the park, I relax, I don't think about the business, I don't worry about things. And then I come back relaxed, cheerful and bubbly, I'm busting with ideas. So because, when you take your brain away from being busy, you create the space for it to be creative.
yes,
So it's
when
very, very, very important.
it
It's
is.
very
Thank
important.
that comment too. It's really energizing. And I invite people who are listening, who are business owners, even if it's your side business, think about valuing what your time is. Okay. Like, what is your hourly rate? Figure out what that's worth to you. And then look into getting a virtual assistant, look into getting support in some area of your business where you absolutely do not enjoy it and it saps your energy and it takes you 5 times longer than anyone else to do, and really consider getting help in that area.
Hmm.
Because if you're spending 5 hours a week on something that somebody else could do in 1 or 2, you could be making the money in that 5 hours to pay them.
True.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're very correct.
So, and if you're, I'm connected to some beautiful people who are virtual assistants and online business managers who can direct you to wonderful options. So it's out there. There's really reputable, wonderful people out there. Yeah. Highly.
Yes. Grace is saying leverage. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Another yes for that. Yes, you've got to leverage your time and not think I need to do everything. You've got to make systems work for you, especially now. There's so many people that can actually do those things that you're learning to try to do. They can do it in less time. The time is taking you to learn it, someone else has already completed the job.
Yeah.
So you've got to leverage your time so that you can prioritize looking after your. So even if they are doing that whilst you're resting, it's something, it's a win-win. You're resting, you're getting blessed, and you're also paying someone, and they're getting money in their business as well. So it's a win-win. I say that way. I've always told myself it's a win-win. She says delegation. Yeah, we've got to delegate, because if we are going to allow this body to last us for a very long time, to look after the business that we are working so hard to build, we've got to prioritize looking after the body so that it can take us for longer. So on the final note, where would people find you, and how can they know more about what you offer?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's always such a pleasure to connect with you, and so nice to do it live like this. Love it.
Yeah.
So the best place to find me is sheilabotelho.com. And I'm not really able to key anything in, but I'm sure you can pop something in the notes.
Yeah, pop that in the comment. I'll type it again.
My social channels are listed on there as well. I do spend time on Instagram, kind of like to show what I'm doing on the daily and to promote different things and whatever. But really the main hub for everything is sheilabotelho.com. So SHEILABOTELHO.com. And you can download the Connect with Sheila Botelho podcast. It comes out Mondays and Wednesdays, and typically Mondays is like a little 4 to 5 minute little motivational thought for the day, inspirational thought for the day. Wednesdays are either an interview with an incredible person who is chasing their purpose, who's living somewhere in the world, doing something that's exciting for them. And also the alternating week is a live Q&A that I record and then put on the podcast. And it's usually about anything from health to relationship to businesses and self-care. And Tozen was on the Connect podcast. She was my second guest interview.
Yes.
It's doing really well. People really enjoy it. And so, yeah, you can go check her out and hear her full story over there too.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Thank you so much, Sheila, for coming on tonight. I've learned so much. Every time I watch your Instagram stories, I'm elevated. I feel like I'm walking on those in the park with you, with all the trees, all the I always love watching your stories. I'm always on it because it just reminds me that this is where I should be, enjoying the breeze, feeling and listening to the birds, and just calming my mind. It really is soothing. So it's really wonderful to have you on tonight. And for those of us that are just joining us for the before we log out from here, okay, this is Sheila. She's a certified integrative nutrition health coach. She's a lifestyle entrepreneur. She's the mom of two, so she understands what she's actually saying when you need to balance having a business. We're looking after the family. We're looking after yourself. Self-care. It's really a pillar to the success of our business and our life as a whole. And our passion is all about helping people to prioritize their self-care and tap into their feminine strength whilst living their purpose in this world. So it's really, really wonderful to have you on tonight, Sheila. I do really appreciate you. And I just wanted to say thank you one more time. Okay. All right. To everyone just joining us or just rounding up with us, tonight has been wonderful. I hope you've been able to pick one or two things tonight on our topic, self-care, a pillar of success in life and in business. Until we come your way again next week on the Tangel Business Show, don't forget, you have all it takes to be more, do more, and have more in your life. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. All right. Until we see you again, have a wonderful one. And don't forget, self-care is priority. You've got to look after this body. You've got to look after the soul, the mind, the body, so that it can take you on for longer in the pursuit of your purpose and in the pursuit of your vision. All right. Stay blessed and have a wonderful night. Bye for now.